Welcome to another episode of Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news and insights from Littlefield Agency.
Welcome back to another edition of Little Talks with Littlefield Agency. I'm Sam Littlefield. With me is
Roop.
Roop, there he is, baby. It is Monday. We're ahead of schedule this week because we have our Q1 leadership offsite tomorrow at the Summit Club. Very, very excited. Where we kind of come out of the weeds to 30,000 feet and look on behalf of the vision of our agency and what are we doing well, where are opportunities.
Solve all the problems.
We solve all the world's problems. At the end of the day, we have a drink, we go home, say hello to our families, come back, rejuvenated and ready to do it again.
With people lined up at our desk needing things.
That's exactly right. It's a wonderful feeling to have. Are you excited for tomorrow?
Yeah, I like it. You know what I look forward to the most now?
What's that?
The fashions.
The fashions? What the hell is that?
Well, I can't wear T-shirts to this thing, and I can't wear grubby jeans because it's a Summit Club.
It is. Well, technically on 31 you can. We go up to 32 for a drink to see Miss May, your favorite bartender.
Oh boy! Yeah, look,
let's tell everyone the story. That's pretty interesting.
No one needs to know the story. I don't want May to listen to this podcast.
May's not listening to the podcast. I can promise you.
May has served us at the Summit Club
for 30 years.
For 30 years, and the agency for 15 years that I've been here, or 13 years.
We call her Miss May, little bitty lady.
Yeah,
probably 80.
Every year at the Christmas, at least every year at the Christmas party, she goes out of her way to serve me last. And I've never done anything to this woman, I promise.
And I can personally attest, I've witnessed it a few times. She'll like lock eyes with Roop, and he'll be like, kind of finger up, hello, Miss May. Usually you'd say Miss May. She just straight up like turns around. I don't know what you did to her. She's the best bartender right now.
Brock witnessed this a couple years ago. She tried to poison me with some sour milk in a
Tell
White
that
Russian.
story too, real quick. By the way, she's a lovely lady.
I was telling Brock this situation, and he's watching it happen. Like she was getting everyone but me, including I think him. Then she finally comes over and goes, "Yeah, what can I get you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'd like a White Russian, please," which was usually what I was getting at that time. And she went over and made it. And Brock said he saw her sniff the milk, and she went and shrugged and put it in. And gave me this White Russian. I'm drinking it, and I'm like, it might be a little off. I can't really tell. And about 15 minutes later, she comes over and goes, "Yeah, you know what? I think that milk may be bad. Let me make you a new one." I was like, Brock was laughing so hard.
Oh, it's amazing. Yes, so we have that tomorrow. It's going to be great. It is Masters Week. If you're watching the podcast, like via our videos segment, you will see I'm in my Masters green. I've got my Masters logo.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, Matthew has the same shirt in Matt size. And we had that, and he had like a little Masters pocket wash that my dad gave him from many moons ago. And I had my hat on, and he's all about the Masters, and I'm all about the Masters. And if you're not a golfer, it's totally worth tuning into. It is my favorite week of the year. It is Christmas come early. I'm taking a half day on Friday, watch the Masters all day Friday afternoon, all day Saturday. We're having a Masters watching party on Saturday, and Sunday, the Masters. Final round coverage.
You have a TV in your office. You could just watch it there.
Yes, I could. On the weekend?
No, on Friday.
Oh, on Friday. Oh, no, I do a whole. It's a whole thing.
More?
Yeah,
okay.
with a couple of guys, patio, beverages are had.
Okay.
Meals are prepared. It's a big deal. So, happy Masters Week to those that are listening, to those that are into the Masters. If you're not into the Masters, happy Masters Week. The last announcement that we have before I want to give a shout out. Mike Rocco, who everyone who is listening, current client-wise, is our legendary creative director, is celebrating 20 years of working at Littlefield on Saturday. 20 years.
Two decades.
Claude, how old are you?
25.
25. So when Claude was 5 years old, Mike Rocco started at Littlefield Agency.
Wow.
Crazy.
As a copywriter to, I think, associate creative director to creative director.
Yeah.
And so 20 years. Mike Rocco, happy anniversary. You're not watching our podcast, but I think you are going to listen because we're going to give you a big shout out here. 20 years is huge. That's a hell of a milestone.
It is, and he didn't know this. He was penciled in to be a guest on the podcast at least one or two of the last 3 weeks. I've had him and bumped it.
Yeah.
But I feel like after he hits 20, he should be obligated to come on and kind of share some stories of his time.
Even, that's a great idea. Maybe some tribal stories, some war stories, some David Littlefield stories. There's some good ones.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stories.
There's some good ones. So anyway, for those that are listening, For an employee to celebrate a decade is big. 2 decades in today's age is huge. So Mike, thank you for all you do. He's such a team player. Our clients love him. And just an awesome soldier over the years.
Not a podcast listener, but
not a bad guy. But you know what? I hear him listening to his stuff, so we'll get him tuned in here.
We'll get him here.
And then the one shout out that I have, I spoke to an awesome person last Friday. Her name's Lori. She's on the East Coast, and we just had a delightful 30-minute conversation. She's a smart marketer, and I always appreciate insights like that. So Lori, I'm going to pass this on to you, and hope that you enjoy this episode. It's I think a very timely one, especially within our huge quarterly offsite discussion tomorrow. Yeah. So Roop, let's talk through our one and only digital marketing trend of the week. We are calling this
Adapting to Marketing Technology Trends.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Probably something that everyone should be doing these days.
Well, the thought on it was this happens here too. We get kind of bogged down in our day to day, and you look up, and a quarter has passed.
This
just happened to us.
These last
right?
90 days just flew.
And technology, not just in marketing, but in the world in general, but in marketing especially right now, is changing so quickly. If you're not kind of paying attention to it or taking some time to evaluate your technology needs or usage, you might be missing out on some opportunities to be much more efficient, save some money, and do things in a better way. So this is more than anything else a reminder to slow down, smell the roses, and see if there's stuff that can help you out
Which
there.
is hilarious that you say slow down, because what this does is speed
you up. Yeah,
no, it totally does. And we encourage our clients, we encourage ourselves, and we do it annually. Probably should do it more. What's your tech stack, right? And by the way, this is great. A couple years ago at a conference, is a CEO. He said, "Hey, we evaluated how we communicate," and he's a little larger agency, probably 100 people across 2 offices, and they had 20 different ways they were communicating to each other. And today's conversation is not about communication tools, but it's technology tools that enable communication and learnings, et cetera. So I would challenge you, Mr. or Mrs. prospective client or current clients. I think that's a great exercise to go through. But what Roop is talking about here is very AI related. And then also just some of look at all the tools that we use and how much they've morphed over the last year.
Yeah, so before we went on, I was telling Sam, I'm aware of some of these tools because we have multiple departments, and everyone kind of has their own niche tools they use, Claudia and I and Philip included. But I hear about some of them, man, that's really cool. That sounds like, and I can see when Chris gets excited about a new technology or a new opportunity.
I love an excited Chris.
Yeah, and media and analytics, it's kind of neat. So we thought we'd go through some of them that we've kind of employed or are using lately, or opportunities we've found, and maybe it can inspire some internal discussions wherever you are.
Love it. I love it.
So the first one was Meta and Google, and when you're buying ads. So about 10 years ago, it became maybe a little more than that. It became pretty easy to buy ads from Meta and Google. And they constantly, if you have a business, are going to prompt you to do that. Here's a $100 credit. LinkedIn's doing this right now. Here's $200 credit. That'll last about 1 click. Come on in and start making ads. It couldn't be easier. Use AI to do it. We've got AI now to help you. So that's kind of a surface level. And I think a lot of businesses, maybe especially some mom and pops and smaller ones that don't have
for sure,
dollars to spend on agency help, maybe that's okay. I kind of look at it as these companies taking some advantage of those folks because they're not always going to get back what they put into it. And what I mean by that is those are not the tools we just kind of surface level use, and that's it at this agency and probably most.
Well, and again, no knock on these platforms, but I've asked Beth and Chris and team on the media and analytics side, hey, if you just do what Google recommends, which you do,
Accept
if you go into their platform and they're like, hey, we X, Y, and Z, click this button. Again, in theory, beautiful and easy. And it's a freaking from a bidding strategy, across the board. So, and again, I think small businesses probably oh yeah, click, I'm good, don't need to hire an agency, don't need to hire personnel, and that probably gets the job done for what they need.
Yeah, and you're just trusting them. Why wouldn't you?
But then we look at us on quite a bit larger scale in the clients that we're working with. And I don't think we're going to get specifically into the technology.
No, probably not. It's a little secret.
Secret.
But we do more than that. We have a lot more than that, and there's a lot more of thought and strategy that goes into it, not just in terms of the tools we use, but how those tools get executed.
Well, and there's, can I mention the partner I just met down in Miami?
Yeah.
So his chairman of Magnet, I had 2 great meetings in Miami the last 90 days. And this second time, I met a guy named Marty, and he's the co-founder of Ventura Growth, which is an affiliate of the Trade Desk. And for those that are listening, you definitely know what the Trade Desk is. You have to spend some pretty big dollars each month. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Some of our clients do that, but in slower parts of the year, they don't, and it's a consistent spend. So consider Ventura Growth kind of as a subsidiary of the Trade Desk. You get all the benefits of the Trade Desk with smaller spends. We're in deep conversations with Marty and team about to roll that out for our clients. It's about as excited as I have seen Chris and Kelly. Kelly especially. Kelly used to work with the Trade Desk at some of her other agencies. And so for us to have opportunities with this, I look at other partners that we have. I mean, there's so many technology partners within the last 12 to 24 months we've partnered with, had to have a great AI capabilities, great access and tools for our team. And most importantly, it's an end benefit to our client because it's more effective use of their marketing dollars.
And I've always admired Chris in this area, Chris Kaiser here.
Is he ever going to be on the podcast?
Him and Rocco both were penciled in for this quarter and did not happen. He got busy is what happened, so I didn't want to
I think
bother him.
Q2, maybe summertime would be a good time to have. I'd love for Chris or Kelly to be on here.
But that guy does a ton of, and he's a very busy man, but he does a ton of kind of evaluation and research, and bringing new tools and technology stacks to make better ad buys for the client, more effective ad buys for the client. It's impressive. And so I see him as a good example of a department that is paying attention to what's changing out there and trying to really leverage that in the best possible ways for us and our clients.
Yep, I love that. This point number 2 is interesting.
Yeah, AI. We can't have a podcast and not say AI.
Yep. It's the world we're living in, baby.
Yeah. So AI, we've talked about this before, at a surface level, AI also is becoming easier and easier for you to use. They've rolled out some image generation now. It has a little ChatGPT has some kind of hits and misses to it. But like if you're using AI to spell check and give you some ideas for an email or some article you're going to write or something like that, that's good and that's fine. But it can do a lot more than that. A whole lot more than that. So we've recently started looking at it beyond kind of that surface level and putting together almost an AI strike team, right? Like really focused in on this.
Who is that team?
Well, it's me and Philip and Chris, deputies. But what we're looking at now is not trying to say how we've got this cool AI, let's force it out there. We look at it as what are the problems in the agency or the bottlenecks or the areas where things are happening that could be, if you're spending 2 hours manually going and looking at this report, pulling numbers out, or looking up analytic numbers for podcasts, which are a nightmare to do. And can AI help us with this? Is there some automated processes and some AI learning that can kind of help make this work? And so we've already got, Philip and I are sitting on like 6 projects right now to knock out.
These are like client projects.
Some of them are client projects. Some of them are for us.
Some of them are for us, yes. And I think a big part of this, right, is everyone's talked about AI the last 2 years and similar situations that you just given, Roop. We're telling everyone that we cannot, and you as your company cannot be behind the AI 8 ball here.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of this, Roop, process, right? Like efficiency's done, absolutely. But process-wise, like what this is going to do for our team and for our clients in the next year?
In the next, probably sooner.
6 months? It's insane.
Yeah, Chris and I spent about a year making a list of AI projects we wanted to jump into, and we finally just put a flag in the dirt and said we're doing this.
Yep.
And we've started rolling some things out. But and maybe you don't know how to fully implement AI to get things done, but you probably are aware of some areas that could help. So one of the things we've set down to do as an AI team here is come up with a process for identifying what those opportunities are, how we kind of run through a discovery of them, what tools are needed, what are we trying to accomplish, what's the output, all that kind of stuff. It's almost like a website discovery meeting in a lot of ways. I'm kind of modeling it after that. And your end result won't be a website. It'll be an AI process or agent or tool that makes your life hopefully a lot easier.
How many conversations have we had on this in the last 60 days? A lot.
A dozen or more.
Yeah. At first, Roop was like, "Oh yeah, hey," and then there's some cool announcements coming up here soon. But
like tomorrow, probably before this podcast goes out.
Actually, I'm gonna take this time. Yes, and I told Roop, I truly do believe clients and potential new clients will one day hear very soon, if not now, rely on us from an AI consultancy standpoint, and we have the people that understand it. And I think that is going to be so different. Yeah. I mean, for you and your marketing team to create so many efficiencies within a given week that it creates, frees up 10 hours of their time. Let's just say 5 hours, right?
That adds up over a year.
That adds up over a year. Yes, absolutely.
And it makes that time that you're not, AI is not going to do the whole job for you. It's just going to make your job about 80% easier or faster or more efficient or whatever. Yep. That remaining 20%, it can be quality 20% now, right? Like you can really use that human touch to finish out the job or put the strategy behind it or review those analytics or whatever the case may be.
Well, and I'm very interested. You hear a lot in the last year about the 4-day work week. I think it was at Lamborghini went to a 4-day work week. Now they can only produce so many cars.
What magazines are you reading? Do you hear about Lamborghini's 4-day work week?
Claude, can you gut check me on that? Just Lamborghini 4-day work week.
Just got Google.
Claude will Google that or AI.
Or ChatGPT it.
And so, but I do think it's like, okay, do companies go to a more flexible 4-day work week because they're doing the same amount of work in a short amount of time? Do they double up? Do they overload? I'm throwing my pin here. Who knows? It's going to be crazy. Do I have affirmation?
Yes, in December 2023.
Wow, what a memory.
Lamborghini has gone to a 4-day work week. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, you only make so many Lamborghinis a year. That's true. But they've created a lot of efficiencies. I'm telling you guys, this is the way. Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase has a lot of very smart predictions about AI, and I think it's worth looking into. So it's conversations that we're having here that we wanted to share with you all because we know your team's having them. And I told our team, and we have, again, at our quarterly offsite, this is no longer a shiny object. This is no longer a fun thing. This is real, and this affects all of our daily lives. And it's a matter of how you use it and who's going to lean into it. And we're leaning into it very heavily.
Yeah. And since we've kind of taken this mindset here, I've loved just being fly on the wall for conversations and hearing, oh, wait a minute, I think there's an opportunity here. Hang on a second.
Yes.
Could we talk real quick? I think I can make that faster for you.
Love that.
So some of it isn't necessarily all technical. Some of it's that kind of planning and strategy up front on how you're going to do it. But anyhow, we're putting together a package and a program here that can do that soup to nuts.
And one tip on this AI Raising the Bar, we now, as part of our monthly staff meetings, have AI share out. And it used to be, hey, give us some examples. It's like, nope, hey, Philip, you're going to give us one tangible example. You have 10 minutes. And Philip blew our minds. Kelly showed us a really great way on how she's using a media tool that we subscribe to and spend a lot of money with, and how that has evolved in the world of AI. So very interesting. I encourage you and your marketing teams do some sort of AI share out.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, it doesn't have to be polished. Chris Kaiser just did a Magnet Media. It was a Zoom call last week. And he did a 7-minute overview on just some of the things, how he's prompting, what he's doing, where he's creating efficiencies so that his team can more think for our clients. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. AI is a part of our lives now. So there you go.
So Roop, let's combine these last two. Faster decision-making, better collaboration.
Yeah, so faster
sounds like a win-win for everyone across the board.
These are kind of some of the things that happen when you have really integrated data and dashboards that move in real time. And one of the we should have had Chris on this one. One of the things Chris does for our media clients, he creates custom dashboards for all of them.
That's awesome.
Which
they're the best.
Another AI opportunity, by the way, because he's custom making every one of those. We can help. But he's creating these dashboards that, if you're a media client here, you can pull up and look at in real time and see how your media is performing. And he's making shifts based on that data on the daily. So it's not a kind of set it and run it deal at all. And you can kind of be a part of that. And if you've got a question, you dial in and ask him what's going on or what do I see here, whatever. But that kind of better integrated data and dashboard concept is not new, but it's something that it's allowing us to, I think, collaborate with clients in a much more intimate way than we used to.
Yes.
And I think that's good for that kind of communication is good for everybody.
Yes.
And that collaboration happens best when, here's a second point, you have shared access to tools and data. So it's hard for Chris to do his job if he doesn't have access to the right data and tools from the client side. And I think maybe it could be tough for the client to fully understand everything we're doing if they don't see some of the things that we're executing, some of the thought that goes into it. Because, you have the presentation with the client, and there's a lot of thought and strategy.
We just had one last week with H.E. Williams. It's great.
And he nails every one of those.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Most of the agency does. So you see the strategy and the concepts that go into those meetings, but you don't always see the day-to-day that continues with.
Well, and that's the thing, and I think part of it is our continued conversation on extreme collaboration with clients. That's something that we're working towards. And then just H.E. Williams last week, really, really thoughtful questions, very engaged group, well over 2-hour meeting. And I was thinking, because we just launched this campaign, we have a lot of learnings now. Now it's this very quicker decision making, faster work, better collaboration with the client because of we've got some time under our belts and some performance metrics that we can now benchmark against, which is that's to me where it gets really fun because you got that initial 45 to 60 day learning phase, and then what are the actionable insights and how do we drive action going forward?
Yeah, and how do you move from that?
I love it, Roop. This is really, I mean, just very timely. Again, it's not only Masters Week, which is part of my energy, but the quarterly offsites really do get me excited. So very good for our team, and we hope that this is helpful for your marketing teams because this is just changing so damn fast now. It is crazy. Bonkers.
Yeah. If you have questions on any of the stuff we talked about today or even stuff we didn't talk about today, hit us up in the comments or shoot us a note on the website.
And literally the other day, my last point on this for AI, I talked to a prospect that I really, really like. We've been talking for a year or two. And he was talking about, oh, man, I wish I had a project manager. And I was like, dude, there's an AI agent for that. He's like, excuse me? And I was like, okay, hey, I'm going to connect you with Roop and Dave. We are going to connect here in May or June. Super cool, great opportunity. But there's just all sorts of ways for your team to tap into this.
Yeah.
And with that, we depart.
I want to say so much more about agents, but that'll be a different podcast.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great, and I think we need Chris on this podcast soon.
Yeah.
Chris, I know you're not listening, but you're coming on soon, buddy.
Someone will tell him. Sarah.
Okay, Roopster, thank you as always.
Yeah.
Big week ahead. April, Masters. And with that, we say goodbye. Have a wonderful Masters week. We will see you next time. Thank you, as always, for listening.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed our little chat and found ways to grow your own marketing strategies. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on social media @Littlefield Agency.